Most people are using Claude AI completely wrong. They're asking it to write their emails. They're asking it to summarize articles. They're treating a $20 a month tool like a slightly smarter Google search, and then wondering why it's not changing their financial situation. I want to show you something different today. I want to show you exactly how I use Claude AI as the operating system of a one-person business. Not as a writing assistant, but as a thinking partner, a research department, a client delivery engine, and a content machine, all running simultaneously, all on one subscription. If you've ever thought about building something on your own, stay with me, because what I'm about to walk you through is the actual workflow, not the theory, the workflow. Let me start with why this matters right now in 2026 specifically. The traditional employment model is under more pressure than ever. Layoffs in tech, finance, and professional services have displaced millions of experienced workers with real track records. At the same time, the cost of starting a business has collapsed. You don't need a storefront, you don't need a team, you don't need investors. What you need is a skill the market will pay for, a system to deliver it consistently, and a tool that multiplies your output. That third piece, the tool, is where Claude AI comes in. I want to be clear, Claude is not magic. It won't replace your judgment. What it does is compress the time between having an idea and executing it. It handles research, drafting, and structuring. When you remove those friction points, a one-person operation can produce at the level of a small agency. That's the actual opportunity here. I think about Claude as filling 4 distinct roles in my business. Let me walk through each one. Role 1, the research department. Before I take on any new client, I need to understand their industry and competitive landscape. That used to take me 2 to 3 hours. Now I do it in 20 minutes. I open a new Claude conversation and I give it a structured brief with the client's industry and problem. I give it 3 specific questions I need answered before our first call. Claude returns a synthesized overview with source-level reasoning. I spend the remaining time validating the key points rather than building the picture from scratch. That's not laziness, that's leverage. Role 2, the client delivery engine. Once I'm in an engagement, Claude helps me structure deliverables like strategy documents. If I'm producing a training curriculum or market analysis, I use Claude to build the skeleton, the section headers, and the logical flow. It helps me identify the questions each section needs to answer. Then I fill it with my actual expertise. The result is that my deliverables are more consistent, more comprehensive, and produced faster than anything I was doing manually. Role 3, the content machine. If you're building a one-person business in 2026, content is your primary distribution channel. It's how people find you, trust you, and decide to hire you. But most solo operators either don't produce content or it sounds generic. I use Claude to build content briefs, not to write content. There's an important distinction there. I give Claude my actual perspective. I ask it to help me structure that perspective into a format that works for video or newsletters. The voice is mine, the structure is Claude's. Let me give you the actual stack I use alongside Claude, because Claude doesn't work in isolation. 3 tools. 1 is Claude, 2 are discipline. When I'm working through a business decision, pricing, or positioning, I describe the situation. I ask Claude to steelman the opposing view. I ask it to identify what I might be missing. It doesn't make the decision for me, but it surfaces considerations I might have glossed over. It forces me to articulate my reasoning clearly. That process alone has saved me from at least 2 decisions I would have regretted. Quick pause here. If what I'm describing resonates, if you're building something of your own, Beacon Momentum exists for that. There's a link in the description. No pressure, just more of this in a structured format. Now let's get back to the workflow. Let me give you the actual stack I use alongside Claude, because Claude doesn't work in isolation. 3 tools. 1 is Claude, 2 are Discipline. Tool 1 is Claude AI itself. I'm on the Pro plan. I use projects to keep context organized by client and by content category. If you're not using projects, you're leaving half the value on the table. It's the highest ROI subscription in my business. Tool 2 is a simple project management system. I use Notion, but the tool matters less than the habit. Every engagement gets logged. Claude can only help you if you give it context, and context lives in your notes. If it's not logged, it doesn't exist for Claude. Tool 3 is a calendar with protected blocks. This sounds obvious, but it's the constraint that makes everything else work. I have 4 hours a day that are non-negotiable deep work time. Claude multiplies those 4 hours. It does not replace them. A carpenter who uses a power saw is not less skilled than one who uses a handsaw. The skill is in knowing what to build and how to finish. The tool just removes the friction between the idea and the result. Your expertise is the irreplaceable part. Claude is just the power saw. Let me make this concrete by walking you through what a typical week looks like when Claude is integrated into the workflow. Monday morning, I do a weekly planning session with Claude. I give it my active projects, deadlines, and my energy level. I ask it to help me sequence the week's priorities. It takes 15 minutes and replaces an hour of staring at a task list. Tuesday and Wednesday are client delivery days. I'm working on actual deliverables, using Claude for research and drafting as needed. I'm not outsourcing the thinking. I'm outsourcing the scaffolding, the structures that take time but don't add unique value. Thursday is content day. I produce 1 long-form piece, like a video script or newsletter, and 3 shorter pieces derived from it. Claude helps me extract those pieces from the long-form work. 1 piece of thinking becomes 4 pieces of content, every week. Friday is business development. I review my pipeline, follow up, and do a brief retrospective on the week. It's about compounding results. Claude helps me draft follow-ups that are specific and human, not the generic emails that everyone ignores. It keeps the pipeline moving. I want to be honest about what Claude cannot do. The hype around AI tools does real damage when it creates unrealistic expectations. Claude cannot replace your judgment. It will produce confident-sounding answers to questions it doesn't actually know the answer to. You have to verify. You have to bring your own expertise. If you don't have domain knowledge, Claude will give you a plausible-sounding approximation. Claude cannot build relationships for you. The reason clients hire me and keep hiring me is trust. They know I'm in their corner. That trust is built through conversations and showing up consistently. Claude doesn't do any of that. It can't replace being human. And Claude cannot replace the hard work of building a skill. If you don't have something valuable to offer, no AI tool will manufacture that for you. The tool amplifies what's already there. If nothing is there, there's nothing to amplify. Go in with clear eyes about what the tool is. The one-person business model is real. It's not a side hustle fantasy. It's a legitimate way to build financial independence. And you can do it without asking anyone's permission. Claude removes the friction that used to make the work unsustainable. The lighthouse is lit. The path is visible. What you do with that is up to you. It's time to start building. If you want to go deeper on the business model or the prompts, there's a link to Beacon Momentum. That's where this continues. If this video was useful, subscribe. There's more coming. And if you have a question about your situation, leave it in the comments. Thank you for your time and interest in Beacon Labs. We look forward to serving your needs. I'll see you in the next one.